In the vast tapestry of human history, there are nations whose stories unfold like gentle waves, and there are nations whose journeys surge forward with the force of a relentless tide. Among them, the story of the United States stands out as a saga shaped by explorers, dreamers, settlers, innovators, and generations of people who believed in possibilities larger than themselves. Today, I invite you to travel with me across oceans of time as we uncover how a collection of scattered colonies transformed into one of the most influential nations the world has ever known. Long before flags were raised, borders were drawn, or cities lit the night sky, the land that would one day be called America was home to countless indigenous nations. For tens of thousands of years, they cultivated traditions, protected the land, and built communities rooted in balance. Their stories echo through valleys, forests, and rivers, reminders that every great beginning starts long before the first chapter is written. Then came the age of exploration, when distant continents stirred with curiosity. In 1492, a voyage sponsored by the Spanish crown brought Europeans to the shores of the New World. With that arrival, an irreversible transformation began. As European powers rushed to claim land, establish settlements, and shape a new life far from their homelands, the foundation of a new identity quietly formed. By the 1700s, 13 colonies on the eastern coast of North America were bustling with merchants, farmers, thinkers, and newcomers searching for opportunity. Yet beneath the prosperity, tension brewed. New laws, rising taxes, and disputes over rights ignited a spark of resistance. In 1776, that spark erupted into a declaration so powerful that it reshaped global history. The Declaration of Independence. The people who signed it believed deeply in the promise of freedom, equality, and self-governance, ideas that would guide the nation through its most triumphant and most challenging moments. But the path to becoming a unified nation was far from smooth. Wars were fought, alliances were tested, and visions of the future clashed. Still, the determination to grow, to learn, and to reinvent never disappeared. With each generation came new ambitions, new struggles, and new dreams. From westward expansion and technological revolutions to waves of immigration that blended cultures together, America evolved in ways no one could have predicted. As we journey through this incredible timeline together, I invite you to discover not just what happened, but why it mattered and how each moment, each decision, each voice contributed to the story of a nation still shaping its identity today. If you enjoy this kind of historical storytelling, do not forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the next adventure. Now, let us begin our journey into the epic story of the United States. From the moment the first European ships cut through the Atlantic waves and touched the shores of North America, the world sensed that a new chapter of humanity was unfolding. What began as a distant curiosity soon transformed into a race for influence. Spain, France, and England extended their ambitions across the ocean, planting colonies, establishing trade, and introducing unfamiliar customs to lands that had thrived for centuries under indigenous stewardship. Spain moved swiftly, claiming vast territories in the south and southwest. France, eager for discovery and trade, sailed into the northern wilderness, establishing partnerships, mapping rivers, and founding settlements. But it was England whose colonies along the Atlantic coast expanded rapidly, attracting people escaping religious limitations, seeking better lives, or simply chasing the promise of an open horizon. By the mid-1700s, the 13 English colonies had grown vibrant and diverse. Streets echoed with the accents of Europe, markets bustled with ideas, and communities debated politics in crowded taverns. Yet, beneath this energy simmered frustration. Many colonists felt unheard by the distant British crown. They paid taxes they did not choose, followed laws they did not help shape, and watched as restrictions tightened. A spirit of independence began to stir, quiet at first, then louder, then unstoppable. In 1776, voices from every colony gathered around an idea that would change their fate, the belief that a people should govern themselves. The Declaration of Independence was more than a document. It was a promise, a vision of a nation built not by bloodline or monarchy but by conviction. The struggle that followed tested every ounce of determination the young colonies had. But with resilience, alliances, and unwavering hope, they emerged as the United States of America. Yet independence was only the prologue to a much longer story. The new nation faced immense questions. How far should it expand? How should it balance freedom and responsibility? How could it unite people with such different dreams? leaders debated vigorously, citizens voiced their hopes, and slowly, the blueprint of a republic took shape. One of the most transformative moments came in 1803, when President Thomas Jefferson approved the purchase of the Louisiana Territory from France. Overnight, the United States doubled in size. Vast lands stretched westward, full of untapped possibilities but also challenges. Settlers journeyed across mountains and plains, carving new communities from wilderness. Towns rose, railroads crossed landscapes, and industries emerged with remarkable speed. But with growth came division. As the nation pushed forward, disagreements over labor, rights, and the future deepened. The northern states embraced industrialization, innovation, and wage labor, while southern states depended on plantation systems and resisted change. These conflicting visions eventually reached a breaking point, and the country entered one of its most difficult periods, a war that tested the meaning of unity. When the conflict ended, the United States began rebuilding itself not only in cities and farmlands but also in ideals. Amendments redefined citizenship, expanded civil rights, and reaffirmed the nation's commitment to equality. Waves of immigrants arrived from all corners of the globe, bringing languages, traditions, and skills that reshaped America's cultural identity. Inventions like electricity, telegraphs, automobiles, and steelworks turned American cities into centers of progress. By the turn of the 20th century, the United States stood at the front of global transformation. Its industries powered the world's marketplaces, and its growing influence reached across oceans. Yet, this new global role also brought responsibility. The nation found itself participating in international conflicts, humanitarian efforts, and complex diplomacy that would steer the course of the next century. Through triumphs and setbacks, discoveries and reinventions, the United States kept evolving, driven by the belief that tomorrow could be brighter than today. And so the nation moved into the modern era, carrying with it a spirit shaped by centuries of ambition, courage, and resilience. This is the continuing story of a country still writing its future, one chapter, one challenge, one dream at a time. As we reach the end of our journey through the long, winding history of the United States, it becomes clear that the nation's story is not defined by a single moment, a single leader, or even a single generation. Instead, it is a mosaic of voices: explorers searching for shorelines they had only imagined, indigenous communities preserving traditions across millennia, immigrants carrying hopes across oceans, pioneers crossing unfamiliar lands, and millions of dreamers who believed that a better life was worth striving for. The story of America is a story of layers. Every generation added something new: a law, a belief, a discovery, a cultural shift. Some chapters were filled with remarkable achievements, scientific breakthroughs, creative movements, technological revolutions, while others were marked by hardship, disagreement, or painful transformation. Yet through all of these experiences, the nation's defining trait remained its capacity to grow, adapt, and learn. As centuries passed, the world watched America evolve from a fragile group of colonies into a global presence whose decisions carried influence far beyond its borders. And while the nation achieved extraordinary things in innovation, exploration, and cultural impact, it also continued to confront its own challenges, disparities, debates, and contradictions that encouraged reflection and change. Over time, the United States learned that strength does not come solely from power, but from unity. Not from perfection, but from the courage to improve. It learned that progress is rarely a straight line, and that listening, understanding, and empathy are as important to a nation's future as infrastructure or diplomacy. Today, Americans continue to shape their country with passion, advocating for fairness, pursuing knowledge, building community, and celebrating differences. The nation stands as a testament to the idea that a society's greatest achievements emerge when people share a vision of possibility. As we close this chapter, let us remember that history is not merely a record of what has happened. It is a mirror for the present and a guide for the future. It invites us to reflect, to question, and to imagine what the next chapters will hold. We are, in many ways, still writing the story not only of one nation but of humanity's collective journey. Thank you for traveling through time with me. If this storytelling experience enriched your understanding or stirred your curiosity, I invite you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join me for more stories that connect our past with our future. For now, rest well, let your thoughts settle like stars in a calm night sky, and may your dreams carry you to new horizons. Good night, everyone.